Hi, my name's Rhonda Kuning and this is my first YouTube video, so bear with me with the editing and the video shooting please, because this is my first go. So this is one of my art journals. This one is a repurposed book, and I am using up some die cut letters that I've had in my studio for a while and just gluing those down with some diluted PVA. The word that I'm writing there is HopeinHEArt, which is the name of my new website. So I thought I would do a page just showing the meaning behind and the reasoning for why I've chosen that as the name for my site. And it also helps me get rid of all these letters that I've had sitting around for a while. As you can see, as I'm gluing those down, there's dye coming out of the paper, because it's only cheap copy paper that I've used to cut these letters out from, and the green not so much, but the blue and the red, the dye is coming out with the diluted PVA. So I'm trying to seal that in with the gesso. Really should have waited till the PVA had dried, because it was much more difficult to paint the gesso on while the letters were moving around. And as you can see, even as I'm doing that, the red dye from the red letters is seeping right through the gesso. So I leave that to dry, and I come back and I do another coat, hoping that that will seal that in. But the letters have given a nice bit of texture to the page. I'm quite happy with the texture that's there. I'm just not really happy with the pink dye coming through. And I leave that to dry. And it's still pink. So I get some matte medium and varnish and try and seal that in. Even with that, it comes out pink on my brush. So now I'm adding another coat of gesso, and this one seems to do the trick, although the pink still comes through. So I decided to work with that colour and use some diazazine purple and some of that matte medium and varnish to put a glaze on there. Just getting it all in all the nooks and crannies, waiting till it's touch dry, and then wiping it off with the baby wipe. It's really quite easy to wipe off, and as you can see, there are places where I've wiped off a bit more than I really intended to initially, and end up with a nice baby wipe that's nice and purple to use as collage, and some nice purple hands. Now, I left that overnight to fully dry, and I've got some phthalo green that I'm just putting a frame around the page, and with the purple as well, gives a nice depth to the page, the outside part of the page. The real thing looks a lot darker than it does in the video. And I've also got there some Southern Ocean blue, which is phthalo turquoise, and some aqua green light, and I'm just painting the paint onto my finger and rubbing across the raised areas, because it's only copy paper that I've cut those letters out of, so they're not very raised. And just smudging that around and giving it a nice mottled effect. And now, to add a bit of contrast, I've got some cadmium orange that I'm splodging in here and there, using the same technique, painting it onto my finger and then smudging it onto the page, mostly on the raised areas. And so then I got some excess on my palette, so I paint that off onto another art journal as a beginning. And now I'm working with some fluoro pink, a new convert to fluoro pink. I quite like the way it draws out the brightness in the page. It also works with that pink that's coming through from those letters, so it doesn't fight against it. And now that that's dry, I've got a Pitt pen in black, and I'm just going around those letters and smudging it as I go to create a bit of a shadow behind them. If you smudge the Pitt pen while it's still wet, it smudges really nicely. Just cut off those excess letters that are sticking off the page, and then go over the raised area with a Sharpie paint pen in white, obviously. And that really makes the letters pop, it really makes them stand out. And I printed out a page with a whole heap of different things that I was thinking about putting on, and I end up going with basically the reason behind why I chose HopeinHEArt. It was because I wanted to have, the quote is, I want to have hope in my heart and God in my art. So that's why the hope, the in, and the large He as in God, and the art part of heart, and also indicates where my heart is. And I know they're not really straight, those words, but hey, I don't care, I like them that way. And I'm just adding some extra bits with that paint pen, and the verse I'm writing there is Psalm 31:24, and it says, "And now, Lord, what am I waiting for? My hope is in you." And I'm just going around those words and giving them a bit of a shadow behind. And because the glue's still a bit wet, I wait and go around the page and do a bit of a frame with the Pitt pen as well. And I'm also, any little white areas that haven't quite caught some paint, I just dab a bit of the Pitt pen on it to put those into shadow, and just shaking on a bit of that pen at the end to give it a bit of white splatter. I hope you like it, and see you next time. Bye.